You're tuned in to Nerd Overload, your weekly show for video games, movies, TV shows, comics, tech news, and more. Now your hosts, Cody Pennick, Samantha Cross, Sam Dunham, and Josh Harrison.
Jinkies gang, let's split up and listen to this brand new episode of everyone's favorite pop and geek culture show, Nerd Overload. I'm Cody, and I'm the Shaggy of the crew.
I'm Sam, and let's face it, I'm the Fred.
Ruh-oh. I guess I'm the dog.
That works.
Yeah, it works. It works.
It's the hair, isn't it?
Yeah.
I'm Samantha. I guess I'm the Velma. I don't know.
You're
and the Daphne.
Yeah, you're both.
I'm mixed.
Yeah.
You're a composite character.
Well, thank you all for tuning in. We have a bunch of news to go over, but first let's talk about some things we've been checking out.
Check it out!
Almost forgot.
See, the one time I was ready for it, and you weren't.
Well,
I like to keep you guys on your toes.
I always notice you click it. You don't have it set to like hotkeys or anything like that?
Oh, no, I can just, I can, but I choose not to.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm old school like that.
It's funny when you can see the wind-up.
Yeah.
Speaking of wind-ups, my Blaseball team is not doing good.
Oh, it's done. The season's over.
I know it did.
Yeah.
They did not do well.
The Hellmouth Sunbeams are season champions this year.
They are, yes.
My beloved Seattle Garages.
I was going to say, nice shirt, nice t-shirt.
Were second. You know, they made it all the way to the finals, but they got beat out by the Sunbeams. In the end.
By some literal demons.
Yeah.
Yep. And the Jazz Hands ended the season just with a middling. They were neither good nor bad. They just were.
They didn't go into party time.
They did not go into party time.
Which is what happens when your team becomes statistically unable to win in any way.
Yeah.
The team enters party time.
So why do you think they decided to take this week off?
Oh, they've got something wild coming for whenever the next season is.
Yeah.
Because the big vote, there's always a vote to change the rules at the end of the season. That's part of how the game works. The big vote was a variety of things to do with the Forbidden Book.
Yes.
Which,
yes.
In Blaseball lore, and we're going deep into Blaseball again. I'm sorry.
I'm not sorry. Go for it.
That's when they opened the Forbidden Book as a vote. That's when the game got weird.
Oh, okay.
That's when people started getting incinerated by rogue umpires and all the weird stuff started happening.
Wait, so it was just baseball before they opened a magic book?
More or less.
Kinda, yeah. Baseball with funny names.
Yeah. So now I forget what votes won. I know the number one was to eat the Forbidden Book.
I know. I put my votes behind Eat the Forbidden Book.
Yeah, I did too.
Yeah.
And it won.
It was the funniest of the list of things to do to the Forbidden Book.
So we don't know. Some big rule change is
Something's going to happen. Yeah. What if the rule change is it becomes football because it's winter?
Football.
Yeah, football.
The brand new sport. Football.
You said splort.
Yeah, Blaseball is a splort.
It's a splort. Yeah.
And I have not researched this stuff at all.
There's so much.
You're like head deep into it.
There's a good 20-minute video that explains the entire history of every season up to the 8th.
Yeah.
That is actually really good watching.
Wow.
If you want to know the story, the intricate lore of Blaseball.
And I thought reading the Silmarillion was bad.
Well, for this week, the only thing I've really checked out, and it's something that we'll get into later on in the show, but there was a demo for the new Legends of Zelda game that dropped just the other day, and I have played it just long enough to go, yeah, this is definitely a Muso, and I still am not sure if I like it or not. And it's it's nothing against the story of the game or the look or the feel or anything like that. It's all great. It's just a type of video game that I typically don't do well with. I just don't like it very much.
This one seems to have more story behind it than your standard like style of game like that. 'Cause
Sure,
most of them
but again,
are,
the story's not what I'm worried about. It's the mechanics that I just don't like. Hey, quick, run over here and slash a million things, and then run over there and slash a million things, and it's
Fight things here while you're worried about something happening over here that you have little to no control over.
exactly, and it's not something that I typically gravitate towards, but I like the story of the Breath of the Wild Zelda universe and want to know what's going on.
that's some lore for you right there.
Yeah, enough that I'm kind of having to fight through it. And this demo is relatively long. It's the whole first chapter of the game, which is pretty cool. So I'm definitely going to sit through the demo and decide from there what I want to do. But we'll get into it a little more.
Yeah.
When
Yeah,
you know
I still
later in the
haven't
show.
played it yet. I'm just not that excited about it, to be honest.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like I should be, but I'm just isn't
I'm
really
excited.
doing a whole lot
I'm
for me.
excited from a story aspect of it, but I've played a handful of the Warriors games.
The Dynasty Warriors or whatever.
Dynasty Warriors, Samurai Warriors, Gundam Warriors. Yeah, they made 2 of those.
Oh, I believe it.
I'm surprised they haven't made like a Sanrio one.
Hello Kitty just bashing a bunch of people.
Yeah.
Yeah, unlockable Agretzko.
Ooh, that'd be awesome. That'd be really awesome.
She'd be OP compared to
She would,
what, like
yes.
Karopi or
Yep.
like Bad Smaroo.
Somebody's phone's ringing.
Yeah, I'm getting a phone call. Actually, it's Tom.
We watched Friday the 13th last night, like the original one.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Neither of
Yeah.
us has seen it.
I think I've seen it as a child, and I don't remember.
So this is like a mini. No, I haven't seen that. We're gonna
Nice. Okay, let's hear it.
podcast within a podcast.
Oh, wow.
Oh, you got a button for that.
Do I?
I thought you had an air horn in there.
It's somewhere. I moved. Problem is, I moved all these around, and now I forget where all the buttons are.
The moment has passed.
Sound like a dad.
Yeah.
I thought it was fine.
Yeah.
I didn't know the twist that it was not the
Should you spoil this?
oh, it's like from the 70s. I didn't know the twist that it was not the coveralls wearing machete man in the end. It was his mommy
Oh,
the
yeah.
whole time.
Yep.
And honestly, it was kind of a letdown.
Yeah.
I wanted to see the Jason man. And also, I knew about the part where he shoots out of the water at the end, so that didn't get me either. Like, I saw that in, 50 different horror movie documentaries where they talk about good stuff in horror movies, and so I've seen that scene before.
Yeah. Well, that guy that played the kid that shot out of the water at the end, he is a heavy metal. He's built his career out of going to cons and claiming that he is the original Jason. In fact, he has a metal band that he plays at horror conventions called Original Jason, of which he is the bad lead singer and lead guitarist of.
I mean, he's just like a kid with barnacles all over him.
Yeah,
like,
pretty
it
much.
was not really. It didn't do a whole lot for me.
Yeah.
Some of the kills were fun and gross, so that was good. But
Yeah.
I don't know. It was all right.
The Friday the 13th movies are interesting in that until we get about halfway through the series, there's no internal consistency with Jason. Like in number 2, he's it's supposed to have taken place like a week or two later, and yet he is now a full adult man wearing a sack over his head.
Don't spoil it too much, because
Okay.
I got it in the docket to go.
Oh, you've got it? Okay.
As soon as we get home.
All right. Well, I guess what I'll say then is once we hit, I think it's 6 or 7, there's an actor named Kane Hodder who ends up playing Jason, and he's a stuntman. Prior to that, it's just different stuntmen and costumes. There's no internal consistency, but Kane Hodder really brought like the iconic slow moving, lumbering, never runs anywhere, just kind of appears and just kind of, standing there and shaking off hits from his victims or what have you. Whereas before you have running Jason and this, that, and the other. There's one where the stuntman was like a 50 or 60-year-old man. And there are scenes in which he's running and you take one look at him and go, that's an old man running. Well, like, it's the stuntman who played Jason in, it's 3 or 4. One of his earliest credits was The Creature of the Black Lagoon.
Good Lord.
Yeah. Yeah, and no, he's like fast Jason running around and he's like doing his old man 60-year-old trot. So, yeah, but no, it's, I'll be interested to see how you like the rest of the series. It goes full camp by the time it gets to Jason in Manhattan.
Oh yeah, you can't have a movie called like Jason Goes to Manhattan without it being like full camp.
Oh yeah,
or it takes Manhattan.
Jason
like
takes
the Muppets.
Jason Takes Manhattan.
Did he have to take it back from the Muppets?
I think he had stuff like the Muppets in that one. Yeah,
I'll tell you, it's like as far as like movie, like I don't know, horror movie monsters go or whatever. Jason has some of the most like just brutal ways of like killing teenagers,
and a lot of that's Kane Hodder. I think a lot of that is that because some of the other ones are it's just knife.
Yeah, well, that's
just
like,
big knife.
That's all of like the Halloween movies. It's just people getting stabbed.
Yeah,
I thought Halloween was better. I'm going to compare this.
Yeah,
I thought the original Halloween was a lot better.
It's definitely scarier.
Yeah.
I think if you're looking at like a line graph of the two franchises, I think as time goes on, the Friday the 13th movies get better. Like it curves upward while
because they get campier.
Halloween because they get campier and because they kind of get more of an idea of what's going on with it. And while that's happening, the Halloween movies kind of start to kind of go down.
Progressively worse.
Yes. And then Freddy's in there somewhere.
Oh, Freddy is in a class of his own.
Yes.
I have seen a good number of those movies.
But have you seen Freddy versus Jason?
I have not.
Okay.
But now I guess I could.
I remember when that came out.
Mm-hmm.
And then they talked about doing a Chucky versus the Leprechaun.
They did talk about Chucky versus the Leprechaun. Yeah.
There's
that's
a very
whole thing.
good Matt McMuscle's What Happened about Freddy versus
Yes.
Jason that just came out.
It just came out. It's very good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll watch that.
Man, like one of the ones that like really sticks out with me was Jason is like when he grabs like a guy in a sleeping bag and just
bashes the
against a tree.
Yeah, he just picks it up and just like slams it against a tree. Yeah, that's
Wow.
There's just a lot of slit throats in the first movie, and it's gross.
Yeah, like later franchise Jason is this brutal and horrible.
Yeah. Well, after he comes back from hell,
yeah,
as a supernatural being and not just big deformed man.
Yeah. It's when he's literally a monster.
Yeah.
I think my favorite classic gross horror franchise is still Texas Chainsaw, though. That movie is wild.
Yeah, that one's got all sorts of.
Oh man, Nicole sent me this fan art picture of the Sailor Scouts as various horror movie icons, and Sailor Moon is Leatherface, and her skirt is made out of stitched together flesh.
Oh jeez.
I'm like,
I really like the character of Leatherface because he has a lot going on. It's like you kind of feel bad for him in a way that he's obviously kind of.
Yeah, no, I know what you mean.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
And you can't help but think is he an evil guy or is he just this way because the rest of his family is evil?
Is it a nature versus nurture kind of situation, or what's going on?
I mean, he's definitely one of the ones that he may not necessarily, if the avenues were different, he might not have necessarily been a slasher villain.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, even the second movie, it kind of plays he's capable of love, I guess.
Yeah, yeah.
Also, the second movie is great, and it gets campy, but also still wild and gross.
I don't know. You want to talk camp? Jason X.
Oh,
is that the space one?
Yes, the space one. Yeah.
He just wanted his machete back. That is literally a line in the movie.
Yeah, I can. that is camp to a level that I cannot. I
That's
can't.
like sci-fi original movie camp.
That's beyond.
Oh, it is. It's that went
it's
to
beyond
theaters.
the point
yeah,
where.
that's the stinky cheese.
Yeah.
But then you got like the Leprechaun movies where the first one is really, really good. Mm-hmm. And then it's like, it just ramps it up. Like,
And by the end, WWE's Hornswoggle is playing the Leprechaun.
yep, he is the Leprechaun in the 6th or 7th
He is.
movie.
Well,
Yes.
the Elm Street movies like careen straight toward comedy by like the
Third.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, but a lot of that is, what's his name?
Robert Englund?
Robert Englund.
Hamming it up.
Yeah, a lot of it's that.
I like the third one because it's got the wannabe comic book artist guy.
Oh yeah.
And he has that really cool sequence.
Oh yeah, the Dream Warriors.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
I thought A New Nightmare was cool.
Yeah.
It was neat. It was a cool idea. It's very meta.
Mm-hmm.
Have you seen New Nightmare? We should watch New Nightmare.
Yeah. Yeah. Add that to the list.
That was funny when we start. I'm like, oh, this is that movie.
Oh yeah. That's it's that movie.
Movie.
Well, you know. Do you know what the really is? When there was I forget if it's that movie or if it's the second one. It's a flashback, and he's like saying, "Killer, mommy, killer." It's Jason going, ma. That's seriously
is,
that was the thought process behind that. Was he was saying the first couple of syllables from that. Yeah.
So it has a reason.
It has a reason. There's a reason behind it.
We hit just a lot of real stinker horror movies, and I can't remember. They were so bad I don't remember what they were.
That's the thing
Oh,
with
yeah.
horror movies. Like there are there are the good ones, and then there's a huge mountain pile of just rotten garbage.
Oh, bad stuff.
Like we were having real bad luck for a couple days there, and I can't remember any of them.
Like as far as like any genre of movie goes, there are more just people who just want to make a dumb movie, and they're just like, well, let's just make it a horror movie.
Horror movies are easy. Shooting out in the wilderness is easy.
We had that Evil Eye one.
Oh yeah.
That was like, it was one of the Blumhouse ones that Amazon paid for.
Oh yeah, okay.
Like that Nocturne that we watched.
Yes.
But we didn't even make it all the way through it.
Really?
So it
was
was like
a life. Was it like a Lifetime movie?
yeah, it was like a Lifetime Indian romantic comedy. We didn't even get to any scary stuff yet, and we watched it for like, I don't know, an hour.
Yeah, more than half of it.
Yeah.
Wow.
Huh.
It stunk on ice. And it stars the Indian lady from the Progressive Sign Spinner commercials.
That girl, the girlfriend.
The girlfriend, the very uninterested looking girlfriend that's in all of them.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Where the guy's he's like, I think my arms are getting bigger.
Yes.
From like spinning the signs.
Oh yes.
Yeah, she's the star of this movie.
Oh man.
I mean, she did fine.
Yeah, it wasn't her fault it stunk. The script was awful. It was like the whole first hour of the movie is just her and her mom on the phone, and her mom telling her that she needs to get married. And then she gets a boyfriend, and their mom's like, well, maybe don't rush into it. And it's like, are we going to get any scares anytime soon? Is this going to get spooky? I don't know, because I got bored and turned it off.
The real spookiness is matrimony.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Oh, what's her face was in it too.
Oh, Anjali Bhimani of Overwatch.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Oh, is Symmetra?
Yeah,
Symmetra,
she had
yeah.
a small role in it.
Huh.
Well, not that small. She was on there in it a couple times, and she's fantastic. But she didn't save this stinker.
Thinking about like horror movies and stuff, I just thought of the sequel to The Collector, The Collection. No?
Nope. Nothing.
Well, I think the only reason I ever think about it is because a girl I went to school with stars in it.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Her name is her acting name is Emma Fitzpatrick. But when she went to school, she was Emily Fitzpatrick. She's in that. She was in that movie about.
That name sounds really familiar.
She was in that movie about where you pay for things with time.
About time?
About time. Yeah, it had Justin Timberlake and stuff in it.
Justin Timberlake wakes up with 1,000,000 years on his arm or something like that.
Yeah. Yeah, she's in that.
Oh, nice.
I think she was also in a music video for. Oh, God, I don't remember if it was like.
We'll just say White Snake.
No. I'm old, but I'm not that old.
I just wanted to say White Snake.
Might have been Uncle Cracker, I think.
Oh.
Oh, nice.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. There we go. All right.
Yeah, I don't remember. But
Yeah.
yeah, I watched part of that movie once, and I was like, it's interesting because like it's about a guy like he kidnaps people and keeps them like in a box or something. I think that's why it's called The Collection.
Oh.
I never watched the original movie because it was like a remake of a weird Russian horror movie or something.
Ah, gotcha.
Yeah. My thought behind watching this Blumhouse movie was I'm like, well, most of the Blumhouse movies at least hit a borderline level.
They're at
of
least okay.
quality.
Yeah.
But this one blew that notion out of the water.
Yeah.
Just bad.
Oh, so bad.
We watched it wasn't The Curse of La Llorona. It was just La Llorona. I think the good one of the two. There's two La Llorona movies
That came out the same
that
year.
came out the same year. Yeah, one of them is actually in Spanish good one, and then the other one is like a Hollywood apparently real bad stinker. We watched the good one, and it was just more depressing than it was scary.
Surprise! It's about war crimes.
Yeah.
Oh, fun.
Yeah, it's about a general that committed war crimes in Guatemala, I think, and him being haunted by all his victims.
Huh.
So it was, just kind of more depressing than anything.
Yeah.
I mean,
Wow.
Pan's Labyrinth is essentially about fascism in Spain.
But it wasn't. I wouldn't say it was bad either. It was pretty well done. It was
Oh,
just
yeah.
Depressing.
not what I was looking for
It's
at the
kind
time.
of creepy.
But,
Yeah.
That lady was.
yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, we have time for one more real quick one, and we need a happy one. Someone with a happy one. We got to go out on a high note.
I mean, I got married.
Hey!
Congratulations! Oh,
Woo!
he's exploded.
Oh, I sneezed. It hurt.
Oh,
But yeah, I got married on the 24th, and other than being a little cold, I thought it was a very good ceremony.
It was
It was.
excellent. Yeah. Yeah. No, it was a lot of fun, and congratulations. Thanks for inviting us out to it.
It looked nice and it was cozy and
So-
very autumnal and
So
Yes.
much food.
yes, there was
A lot of food.
very good food.
My mom went
Shredded
nuts.
chicken sandwiches were delicious.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, my Aunt Mitt does make a really good shredded chicken.
That was yes. But no, congrats, man.
I mean, I'm super happy about it, and she's super happy, and
Well, good.
now I got all the happiness in the world to look forward to.
There we go.
Yep.
All right. Well, on that happy note, let's go ahead and take a break, and when we come back, we'll get into some news.
Woo!
Hey, we're back. That was Tim Curry's Halloween song from The Worst Witch because it Halloween.
Yeah. I mean, we probably should have said more about it up at the beginning of the show, but it's Halloween.
It's Halloween, spooky. Woo!
That was the lightning.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
I got what you were putting down.
All right. Well, hey, let's go ahead and get into some news. But no, first, you guys have another check them out.
Oh yeah, that's right. We watched.
That was a good cut.
Thanks.
Yeah, we watched The Witches, the new
Yeah.
one, the remake
Yeah, let's talk about the witches.
with Anne Hathaway, and it was really good.
yeah, I enjoyed it.
I really liked the trailers they had put out for it. It looked really interesting and good. I remember the original book, and I remember liking that. So,
I mean,
Good.
I liked the original movie.
I mean,
It's been a really, really long time since I've watched
I
it.
mean, the kid is cute. Octavia
Spencer.
Spencer is fantastic. Is a fantastic grandma, and oh my god, I'm blanking.
It's got the Tooch.
yeah,
Scott Stanley Tucci.
yeah.
Can't go wrong with the Tooch. He's got the Tooch. He's got the power.
He's like the guy that runs the hotel and is just like nervous having to deal with these witches.
Yeah.
And Anne Hathaway is just amazing. She just is eating it up from the very moment she walks into the film until the very end, hamming it up, like chewing on the scenery. She's fantastic.
That's.
I mean,
that's
I always
excellent.
enjoy her as an actress.
Like that was like next level.
yeah.
Like when she was in like Les Mis, I was like, don't cry.
And it's not afraid to get like kind of gross and kind of body horror.
I mean,
The kids can handle it. That's fine.
The original movie was like that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's the best part is that it doesn't talk down to kids in the Roald Dahl fashion.
Yes.
It doesn't treat kids like they're not smart.
Yeah.
And even the ending like kinds of ends on, I don't want to say a down note, but it doesn't put a bow on it like most kids movies do.
And that's totally fine. Again, I really think kids can handle that kind of stuff. They don't need to be pandered and like talked down to constantly. They can handle a little bit of weird and a little bit of bummer every now and then. So
yeah. It's a very good kids movie, and it's a very good movie that I think adults can enjoy too because of that.
Yeah, and that's good. That's good.
And the special effects are very good, and it's a lot of fun. Chris Rock does the narration. He's the adult version of the kid.
Oh, that's cool.
And he's pretty funny.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's cool. Well, he was the narrator in the commercials as well, and I like the commercials a lot. How was the music in it? Because the commercial used was it "I'll Be There" or something like that.
It had really good.
Oh yeah, it had a lot of good. Was it 60? It takes place in the 60s.
60s kind of time period, like appropriate music.
yeah.
Motown
stuff.
R&B
That's
stuff.
really cool. Yeah, I like that.
There was a lot of that, and it was really good. I didn't think about that,
Yeah.
but it
I
had a
thought
very good
about it.
soundtrack.
Yeah, cool. Well, cool. All
High
right.
marks all around.
Yeah. Would you give it the old seal of approval?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay. All right. So, hey, let's go ahead and get into our news now.
We got a whole.
Somewhere over the rainbow. Just so you know, that's a recording of me. I didn't just do that. Sam has me on the soundboard.
Hey, listen, the week I was gone, you guys said a lot of wild stuff in your pregame, and I just want to make you aware of that.
Great. He's got a loaded weapon.
Oh yeah. All right, so hey, let's go ahead and get into some of this news. Do we want to get the big stuff out of the way first? The Nintendo Partner Direct.
Yeah, let's go for it. We got a whole pile this week for once.
Yeah. So yeah, Nintendo had what they said was going to be their last Partner Direct of the year. Now that doesn't mean they're going to be their last Direct of the year.
I have a sneaking suspicion there's one right around the corner. Like next week.
Next week.
I mean, the holiday season is coming, and that's when they dump a lot of stuff.
It'd be dumb not to. I think.
Yeah.
At this point.
Well, it's the one thing that they haven't spoken about are first party games outside of the Mario 35 stuff. So this would be the time to announce a lot of that stuff.
If they get a hot announcement in there, it'll push a lot of Switches over the holidays.
Oh, yes.
Which they're going to push a lot of Switches over the holidays regardless.
Yeah.
As long as they put out enough out, because in holidays past, there's not been enough.
Yeah. So anyway, let's go down the list here and talk about some of the stuff they went over. So No More Heroes 3 has a release date. Is that correct?
Next year.
Yeah. Well, that's fine.
Yeah, and also they released the first two games on the Switch. They ported them to the Switch, which is great. They're both two really good games. The first one a little better than the second one. Get these ports. They're very good. I've been playing the first one through again, and it's a good time. If you like an action hack and slash and dumb comedy and very stylish visuals.
Stylish is definitely the way to describe it. It looks very good, and it is kind of goofy.
I might talk about it more next week.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
If I'm hurting for a check it out, I might go back to this well.
Absolutely,
But
yeah.
Get it. Get the game. It's cool.
They also announced that Control and Hitman Cloud.
Yes, these are two, hardcore, big, good graphics games that would no way run on the Switch, but they've created some sort of specialized cloud service for these two games that lets you stream them directly to your Switch. And I haven't had a chance to try it yet. I downloaded Control and I tried to play it, and there was a queue of 1,000 people long.
Whoa!
And this was like 20 minutes.
Oh,
after they announced
okay,
it.
yeah.
So I don't know how well it works. I mean, I'm sure it matters if how good your connection is. but it's a good idea.
Yeah. Do you think if this works, do you think we'll see more games as a cloud-based service on the Switch to kind of get around the graphical limitations of the device itself?
Yeah, I think it's the future of things, probably.
Yeah.
Yeah, more or less.
I mean, PlayStation's been doing it a while with their PlayStation Now service.
Yeah, true. Yeah.
And Stadia is still a thing.
Unfortunately.
Actually, I played with. There's a new Pac-Man game that's a battle royale.
Oh, really?
On Stadia that just came out, and you can play it for free. And I tried it, and it felt fine. Like, there wasn't a whole lot of noticeable lag for me. I mean, I have a fairly beefy internet connection, but I mean, it worked fine.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah, it's interesting that Stadia is still around, and Amazon just started their new thing too, didn't they?
Yeah, Amazon Luna.
The Luna, yeah. So I'm interested in seeing how that works out.
Control is a fantastic game. Well, Hitman is also a great game too. They're both really good, but especially Control. I like
Which Hitman is it?
3.
Okay.
Okay. Next up on the list is Story of Seasons, and I know it was the franchise was out before Stardew Valley, but boy oh boy, it just looks like Stardew Valley, just 3D Stardew Valley.
Well, yeah, it's Harvest Moon.
Yeah, well that's
Story of
that's
Seasons
true.
is Harvest Moon. It just is a different name.
Yeah.
There's a weird history there with the.
Okay.
I think Natsume owns the name Harvest Moon, but they don't own the people who made Harvest Moon. So this is the original creators making a game. It's just not called Harvest Moon.
But it's Harvest Moon.
Yeah.
Oh, gotcha. Okay. Yeah.
I mean, it's very much Stardew, but it looks good. I mean, I don't want to diss on Stardew's graphics because,
It's
like,
unique.
yeah, and I don't do, much better myself, but I've never found Stardew all that appealing looking.
Yeah. There are bits and pieces of it that I like the headshot, like pixel drawings and stuff like that. I like, but some of the stuff, yeah, I agree with you. But that's cool. Yes, more farming simulator.
Yeah.
Whatever. That's awesome. They had, like I mentioned in my Check'em, the Hyrule Warriors Age of Calamity demo. I don't know how much further we can get into that. It's a demo.
They showed footage. You get to drive those big.
The
Guardian
Beasts?
The Guardian Beasts.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there's going to be some mech action combat
and
in
that's
there.
and that's a selling point.
Yeah.
That is definitely a selling point. Also, we're seeing a lot of characters that are tiny elderly people in the main game as adult, like full-size adult people in this one.
Are you talking about Impa?
I'm talking about Impa. I'm talking about
the science
the
lady
science lady and the
man.
science guy. Yeah.
As soon as I saw the science lady, I was like, "Oh, I remember her. I love her." like I completely forgot.
They're such minor characters, and yet, yes.
Baby grandma.
Yeah, the
Yep.
baby grandma.
All right. What are some of these other ones?
Immortals is Ubisoft's new open world Greek mythology thing, which I don't know. The hot Greek mythology game right now is Hades.
It's Hades.
Which I still haven't played. All I hear is good things.
I've heard nothing but
haven't-
good things, but I haven't dug into it.
Tempted.
I mean, it's a roguelike, so I mean, it's kind of evergreen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But Immortals is not. It's a Ubisoft open world game. That's all they make
Anymore.
This one looks at least a little more interesting. It looks Breath of the Wild inspired while also still being, Greek mythology and Ubisoft. So, I don't know. I feel like they should have did some kind of Kid Icarus brand deal like they did with Starlink and Star Fox.
Oh, yeah,
I kind of half expected it because it would fit. I mean, Pit would fit right in there. But I don't know. It looks neat. Like if it reviews good, I'd maybe get it. But I'm not super excited about it. I mean, I can play Genshin Impact too if I want to play, or I could just play Zelda.
Yeah, you can just play Zelda. Yeah. Okay. So someone tell me why I should care about Bravely Default 2 when I did not care much for Bravely Default 1.
Or Bravely Second?
Well, that's a great way to go.
It's a loaded question.
That's a really positive way to go into
Yeah,
it.
I know. I don't like Brave. They look like Precious Moments children. I don't like them. I don't like the art.
They look different than they did in the original game.
Yeah,
They're
all
a
right.
little more.
Okay, I'm being unfair to Bravely Default 2. What's going on with Bravely Default 2?
It's a Final Fantasy,
Yeah,
like one of the old ones.
yeah.
It very much like that's the point. It's kind of a retro JRPG style thing, but it looks nice and has that good job system in there again. I don't know. I'm kind of excited about it. I never finished the other two games, but
I never played any of them, so
Yeah,
I got no dog in this
yeah,
race.
I like JRPGs, so I do it.
Yeah. Okay, last one we have here on the list is Part-Time UFO. Now, this looks pretty fun. It looks kind of goofy fun from HAL Laboratories,
Yeah,
right? The Kirby guys.
Kirby people.
Yeah.
It was a phone game first.
Oh, it was. I didn't know
Yeah,
that.
and now there's a full-fledged Switch version where you're a little UFO with a crane machine arm on it, and you move stuff around, completing small jobs for people.
And that's cool. It looks...
has a cute pixel art style that looks good. There was some Kirby references in there in the trailer.
Well, the UFO looks like UFO Kirby from some of the later games.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And HAL always makes a good game. So.
They do. They do quality work. Cool. Well, that was the Nintendo Partner Direct. Like we said, the chances are there's going to be at least one more of these here in the next week or two, more than likely. So I'm sure we'll cover that when it hits.
There was a couple other things in there too that we skipped.
Yeah.
I mean, I think they're putting Tropico on the Switch.
Oh yeah, Tropico 6.
Yeah, I
Oh.
haven't played any of those, and it sounds like an orange juice. So
The only Tropico I've ever played was Tropico Pirate Island.
naturally.
It's a full pirate themed Tropico game. It came out after the first Tropico game. It's a island simulator kind of thing. Build buildings, you know. It's almost like
It's
in the
a Fidel Castro simulator.
Oh, fun.
I mean, it's kind of like in the vein of like back when like Roller Coaster Tycoons and stuff like that, because like your residents have needs and desires or whatever,
Yeah,
and
you run your own Cuba.
basically island, whatever. Yeah.
All right, so hey, let's move on to some of this other news. So, Josh,
Tell us
Tell-
about that Dragonlance.
tell us about a Dragonlance.
Okay, so Dragonlance is a long-running fantasy book setting genre. Basically, it's been around since the 80s. Written by Tracy Hickman and Margaret Wise. Like they,
Isn't R.A. Salvatore in there, or am I thinking of something else?
R.A. Salvatore is
Salvatore. R.A. Salvatore. I got a little too spicy with the name.
R.A. Salvatore is the Drizzt Drow books.
Okay,
So
he's
like
not...
no, that's Forgotten
Okay.
Realms.
All right,
Dragonlance is a
okay.
separate thing. Anyway, so Dragonlance, long-running fantasy series, been around since basically D&D has been a thing. Dragonlance is a very popular setting in D&D, and that's where we're getting into this lawsuit between Tracy Hickman, Laura Hickman, and Margaret Wise versus Wizards of the Coast. They're current, holders of the keys of D&D.
Which is also basically Hasbro.
Yeah. Yeah. But so basically what it is according to the lawsuit, Wizards of the Coast backed out of a deal to let Margaret Wise and Tracy Hickman write a new trilogy, basically putting a cap on the original Heroes of the Lance story from the books themselves.
Yeah.
And they also wanted to do some 5th edition writing for
Some supplemental materials.
yeah, for 5th edition D&D. And Margaret and Terry had finished the first draft of the first book in the trilogy, and they were in talks with Wizards and their lawyers and Penguin Random Publishing and all that to get the books. And then all of a sudden, Wizards pulled out and said, "Nope, we're not doing it, and we're not going to approve any other basically, it killed the whole project, just dead in the water.
Oh, wow. Okay.
We're too busy making these Rick and Morty supplements.
They only did the 2. It's not like Cryptozoic, where every game they've been putting out lately is a Rick and Morty game.
It's just such a weird cash grabby concept.
I mean, I keep thinking about
Even
buying it
though
because it just looks weird.
Kate Welch wrote it pretty cool, but it's such a weird
Yeah.
concept.
I don't know. Part of the reasoning Wizards is trying to say they pulled out of it is because they're worried about backlash, because they've hit a lot of real bad PR moments here lately.
I don't know, they're afraid they're going to get canceled over something in one of the old books or something.
Well, there's nothing in the books that would, like, one of the things that Wizards kept pushing for the rewrites on this draft of this first novel was they wanted more diversity, this, that, and the other. Which, yeah, the old novels, I mean, it's 80s fantasy novels. It's very Tolkien in its way.
Swordman. Yeah.
Swordman.
Orc bad.
Swordman magic. Actually, it's mostly just dragons. It's lots and lots of dragons. Wizards. I mean, they're good books. They're not bad, and they do also have a tendency to kill named characters in their books. Not quite at a level of say a George R.R. Martin, but it gets pretty bad there.
And then you got the old George Lucas standby that nobody buys a toy of somebody who's dead.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, nobody buys a toy of a dead character, so you can't kill named characters.
But anyway, so it's kind of an up in the air thing right now where Wizards is pulled out, and so they're coming at them with a breach of contract, breach of goodwill, faith dealing, a whole bunch of stuff. There's a really good 40-minute YouTube video with this guy. He's a lawyer, or he's a copyright lawyer, and he's like I know nothing about the aspects of the story or anything like that. I just know the legal portions of this, and just runs it down. It's a really good video.
Oh, who's the YouTuber? Is that because there's a YouTube lawyer that I watch from time to time, Legal Eagle?
I think that's him.
Yeah, okay.
Is he the guy that weighed in on the recent Lindsay Ellis stuff?
Yeah.
Oh man, have you been following that?
I have not.
Oh, it's pretty wild.
I've seen her post nebulous, vague things, but
she's done 2 videos about it. The first one jumped off of a New York Times story about a wolf erotica authors getting into fights about who created these different genre tropes in the world of fan fiction.
Yeah.
And universes. Mm-hmm. And there's one particular author who keeps DMC takedowning other people's books because she claims that she created these very broad concepts.
Oh, gotcha.
Oh man.
So she does a video about it, and now she's
getting DMCA
rolled up in the mess with this particular author.
Oh wow!
Who I feel like if I say their name,
we're gonna get
rolled into
it down on us.
Yeah.
Even though that probably wouldn't happen.
Well, you never.
But it's not worth a chance.
It's not worth a chance.
Don't tempt fate.
Yeah, I don't want to Beetlejuice this lady into our lives.
Yeah. I just know the YouTube Legal Eagle guy from he would watch episodes of shows having to deal with law courtroom stuff. He watched the TNG episode Measure of a Man, and he watched a random episode of Harvey Birdman, Attorney at Law, and would judge kind of as they go through the court proceedings how likely if they're breaking courtroom etiquette or law or whatever. And one thing that I learned is Harvey Birdman is more accurate than Star Trek when it comes to courtroom
proceedings.
Well, I mean, Harvey Birdman is technically a law show.
Kind of. Yeah.
In the loosest way imaginable.
Measure of a Man. That's the one about Data.
That's the one about Data. The one where they try to decide whether Data is a person or not because what's his name from the Daystrom Institute wants to dismantle him.
Yeah.
And to find out how he works, because according to some people in Starfleet, Data is property because
and not a crew member.
He's not a crew member. Yeah, because he's a living toaster.
Did he do the original series episode with Pike in the machine that lets him beep?
I don't know if he's done that one yet. Yeah.
Beep.
1 beep for yes, 2 beep for no.
Oh man, I just watched the Futurama episode where they do that bit.
Oh yeah, where they walk in and out of the box.
But that sounds like a hot legal mess.
Yeah, I mean it's pretty
It
bad,
does.
and it's really sad too, because like I said, it's been around forever. Like Margaret Wise used to work at TSR, the original holders of D&D, like with Gary Gygax himself, the creator of Dungeons and Dragons. I mean, it's really sad. Like it's a whole awful thing that Wizards is basically going, just backing out of this. One, it would have been a very lucrative deal for everybody involved, because a lot of the hardcore D&D nerds always chomping the bit for more Lance.
And it's a shame because it usually seems like Wizards is pretty cool, quote unquote. Like they usually seem like they get it.
Yes and no. I mean, Wizards is a huge company,
Especially with Hasbro
And-
at their reins now.
well, yeah, they have their hands in so many things. Like, I mean, they've got D&D, they've got Magic the Gathering. They just got so much stuff.
Magic probably makes a lot more money than D&D too. I would guess.
Yes and no. I mean, they've gotten more and more strict with D&D stuff over the years. Like back when like the 3.5 edition was out, there were so many like side publishing companies that would put out supplements and whatnot, and they were cool with it. 4th edition was a train wreck. I really don't. I personally do not like that system. And then when 5th edition came out, they were real tight on, like nobody was allowed to do outside works using the system. Everything had to be specific for them. But it wasn't till I want to say like maybe 2 years ago, they decided to do a more of an open publishing right to be able to do stuff. But it took like a lot of prodding to get them to do it. So we'll see where it goes. I just hope, at least for fans of the series itself, like I'm not the world's biggest fan, but I do have a very good friend who is a huge Dragonlance fan.
Yeah.
And that's basically my extent of Dragonlance, and maybe a couple of I read a couple of the comics back in the day too, but that's about it. But we'll see where it goes, because this kind of just started a couple of days ago, and it's kind of a living story as it would be.
Okay, I've just looked it up, and Magic makes a ton more money than D&D.
Oh, I'm sure.
Just piles on piles. They don't even mention D&D. Hasbro doesn't even mention Dungeons and Dragons in their earnings statements. It doesn't make... Monopoly makes them more money. So it's not a huge priority for them.
No, but also with Magic the Gathering, like they bring out a new set like every couple of months.
Yeah.
Like this, literally.
It's like printing money for them, because it doesn't cost them any money to make cards, and then they sell them at a huge markup, and then everybody's rich.
Yep. Anyway, hey, let's do a couple of really quick hits before we get out of here, because we're actually getting kind of close on time. So first up, the CW Batwoman TV show released photos of the new Batwoman, and it looks like a Batwoman.
She looks real cool.
She looks cool.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I believe she's supposed to be a completely different Batwoman.
Yeah, she's
Yes.
a different person entirely.
Yes,
Yeah.
who they are also going to be introducing into the comics
Oh, okay.
relatively soon.
That's good.
So that's cool. Speaking of people dressing up as things, Tom Holland tweeted a photo of him dressed up as Nathan
Drake.
Nathan Drake
Nathan Uncharted
from the Uncharted. Yeah.
series of video games. He looks just like him.
Yeah.
It's nice to see Tom Holland do something that's not Spider-Man. I mean, I love his Spider-Man, but I'm also happy to see him flourish as an actor.
Yeah. I mean, he still looks like a small child,
I mean, yeah.
but
he's definitely going to be those impetual, youthful types.
He's
yeah.
playing a young Nathan Drake
He's-
anyway.
right.
So I forget who plays the adult one. I want to say Mark Wahlberg.
and Mark Wahlberg is
Oh,
Mark Wahlberg is Sully.
Oh, well, that makes more sense.
Yeah. Nathan Drake, for folks who don't know, he's Indiana Jones.
But he kills a lot of people.
He's Indiana Jones.
He's kind of like
No,
Indiana.
a lot of people.
Oh, okay.
At least
Okay.
in the video games, he kills a lot of people.
He's like Tomb Raider. He's Guy Tomb Raider.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Let's see. The Fire Emblem, there's a new or not a new, the old, the original.
They're re-releasing the original NES Fire Emblem, and that never came out in America.
Yeah.
But now it is.
Now it is.
It's got a real nice collector's edition that's got like a fake crystal clear NES cartridge.
Yeah, it's going to be released in December for digital download, and you only have like a couple months to buy it because Nintendo is testing the waters with this Disney Vault BS.
Also,
Why?
the collector's edition has already sold out in 2 different places, so you're
Really?
probably not going to be able to get it.
Yeah, wow. Let's see. Cyberpunk got delayed again. It's only for 21 days, but still makes me kind of wonder. It's been delayed like 3 times now, 3 or 4 times.
What's going on? Like,
You okay, guys?
yeah.
This sounds like there was a compliance issue. Like they found some big game-breaking bug at the last minute, and I bet there's going to be a huge day 1 patch.
Oh yeah, they've already said there's a.
I mean,
Yeah.
Project Red makes good games, and
Yeah.
they can keep delaying it as long as it's going to be a great game. I don't care. Like people that just get mad about that kind of stuff obviously don't understand the art and time things.
People who get mad about delays are literal children. Like, if you get mad about a game being delayed, grow up. Like,
Yeah.
people have to work on these, and people make them. They don't just come out of a
They don't come out
magic
of
video
a
game tree.
yeah.
video game factory. Actually, that's kind of what it is currently. Yeah, it's kind of a
that seems
with
like
crunch culture.
CD Projekt Red kind of seems like they run a video game sweatshop.
Yeah,
But,
well, yeah.
I mean, Rockstar too. Anyway,
yeah, oh yeah, it's not just CD. This is an industry-wide issue. It's not just CD
yeah,
Projekt.
it's a whole thing. So we had the Twitch DMCA takedown on our list. We're not going to talk about it this week because that deserves a little bit more of a discussion. We don't have the time. But the last thing on our list that I wanted to mention.
Also, we've already talked about a bunch of legal stuff,
We've-
and that would
yeah.
just be more of it.
Yeah, so we'll save some legal stuff for next week. But the last thing I wanted to mention, there is a trailer for a dumb movie on the level of Money Plane called Jiu Jitsu. I urge everyone go out and watch the trailer for Jiu Jitsu. It stars a bunch of aging action stuntmen and also Nicolas Cage fighting against an alien in a power armor.
It's like Halo Man versus Mortal Kombat.
Yes.
Like,
With
or how did you
bits
say
of Predator.
Yeah, you
With a
said
little bit-
Predator.
yeah, I said
Yeah.
I said Predator Mortal Kombat.
Yeah. It looks dumb and fun, and I'll bet it's at least better than Money Plane.
Yeah.
Man,
it's got to be better than Money
The
Plane.
close-up shots of that alien armor, like it looked like a foam cosplay armor.
Oh yeah.
It looked like the design. Do you remember that game Haze?
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I all I can remember is the cover art, and it looks like
looks
the
like that,
cover
yeah.
art.
It looks like someone did a bad job trying to do an HR Giger suit because it had a lot of unnecessary lines and
the alien fighter guy, whatever. He looks kind of like Zero from Borderlands.
Yeah.
but the most important thing, Nicolas Cage is there and he's the one giving all of the explanation of what's going on, so it's gonna be bonkers.
And talking about how crazy he is.
Yeah, he's talking about how crazy he is, and the trailer ends with Nicolas Cage sword fighting an alien man,
Well,
doing a front flip.
doing a forward flip by, and also while saying, "I can fly too."
it's so dumb.
Wonderful. It's wonderful. All right, so with that, I think we've hit time, so let's go ahead and wrap things up. You've been listening to a very spooky episode of Nerd Overload. Thank you very much for tuning in. You can find us each and every day over at nerdoverload.com.
Do you have the shakes? Do you have the chills? You can find us on
Go to a doctor.
You can find us on social media at Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, and Instagram at Nerd Overload Now.
You can email us at staff@nerdoverload.com.
You can call us on the spooky, scary Nerd Overload hotline. The number's 586-372-8020. Leave us a voicemail. We might play it on the show. Who's your favorite scary movie villain man?
Hey, who you gonna call? Well, it's Nerd Overload.
We didn't play the Ghostbusters theme this year.
Well, next week. We can do it next week. We are also on various podcast apps such as Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, Google Play, and more. So if you want to listen to any of our back episodes, you can go over there. And finally, I would like to thank David Pencil for the use of our intro and outro. You can find more of his stuff over at davidpencil.com. So again, thank you all for tuning in, and we will be back next week.
We're ready to believe you.